Hey there, everybody. I'm Dave Graber.
And I'm Kelsey Anderson.
Welcome to another edition of Buffalo Brief. On this somewhat sunny day, for the first time in seems like several days, the sun is making its appearance known. We are here along Elmwood Avenue at the Hadley exhibits, likely a building, in fact, an entire city block worth of buildings that you have driven by at some point in your time here in Buffalo.
Yeah, so this is in North Buffalo. Channel 4 is just down the street. The Pierce Arrow apartments are right across the street. Let's go inside because you've probably seen, or maybe you even just passed by Hadley Exhibits, the sign, and you had no idea what was in here. We had no idea what was in here until today. Believe it or not, this is a 180,000 square foot facility, and some amazing work is being done inside here. So here we are inside the very, very front office space of this beautiful building.
Here we are with Ted Johnson. He is the president, chairman, CEO, owner. He is the everything guy here. Ted, thank you so much. Ted spent a little bit of time just before showing us around so that we have an idea of what we're going to be showing you today. So you've taken a tremendous amount of time. We're going to try to make this efficient as possible. Thank you for joining us here for Buffalo Brief.
Anytime, anytime.
You are incredibly proud of what we are about to show everybody, and for good reason. You have a lot of pride in your work, and that, to me, was one of the things that really came out over the past couple of minutes we've been hanging out.
Well, we've got a lot of great people here that make it all work, and that's really the key thing for us.
If somebody doesn't know what is Hadley Exhibits, what do you do in, just a couple of minutes, if you could explain that?
We tell people stories.
Great.
We really interpret what everybody does. And we're very, very proud to have long-standing relationships with, like, Baseball Hall of Fame. We've been working with them now 23 years. And we have all but one exhibit in the building, and hopefully we'll be changing that out this next year.
Wow. Say that again. You've been working with the Baseball Hall of Fame, and all but one exhibit in that entire museum building is yours.
Yes.
Wow.
So
again, pride.
Yeah. I think we're in every Smithsonian. There's a photograph on the wall there of Chuck Berry's Cadillac. So there's a lot of fun things when you think about it. We do a lot of trade show exhibits. We're really proud of the work that we do here in town. And we don't get the chance to do that much work. But we do a lot of work at the History Museum, the Botanical Garden. I'll give them a plug because I'm on their board.
Yeah, very good.
The library too. I'm on the library board and past chairman. We got a board meeting today, so I can't miss that. But in the New York Power Authority, if you haven't been there, it's awesome. And we're in the midst of the Niagara Falls Visitor Center, which you'll see a little bit later.
So you're building museum exhibits, trade show exhibits, and more. Even some sculptures that we see around town that could be due to the work of your artists, your contractors, that sort of thing. Let's go inside and show folks some of the work that you guys do, and then the massive space that you do that work in. If you are a contractor, an artist, anyone who works with your hands, you're going to be impressed by the space in here. So you mentioned some of the exhibits you do. We're walking by, World Trade Center exhibit, Old Fort Niagara. Explain some of the other museums and trade shows, massive trade shows that you guys have had your fingers in.
Well, we've done an awful lot of work with Erickson, which we did some really large exhibits, up to 14 tractor trailer loads for one booth, and two-story with big revolving theaters, and we've done them from all different kinds of sizes, though, from little banner stands to tabletops to big full-scale exhibits. And we have this layout here of all these little components that we use, and this is like this all the time. It changes, and when we get something interesting, we'll put it here. On some of the photographs you see around the walls, there's a lot of signatures. We'll get a poster from a customer when we open up a job, and everybody will sign it to remember what we've done. And as you're entering the design department, we do a lot of internal graphic work and structures, but we have done a full gamut of zoos. I think we've done about 25 or 26 zoos, over 50 national park exhibits, visitor centers around the country, nature centers. We just did the Loon Center up in Saranac Lake, and along with the Olympic Museum in Lake Placid. We've done some presidential libraries, the JFK Library, which was a great experience. And we've had a long-standing relationship with the National Constitution Center. We just opened 2 galleries and are getting ready to open our 3rd, which will be opening in May. That's called Separation of Powers.
Wow. And that is going to be an exhibit that you said is going to be in D.C. or is,
No,
where is that
that's in
going elsewhere? In Philadelphia, that's
So
right.
That's
right.
Philadelphia. And then the exhibit we just opened has 1 of 7 existing Declaration of Independence that's hand-signed, originals.
I mean,
so that's,
a lot of what we are going to see and what we have seen already is it kind of speaks to the responsibility that you guys have with what you do, be it a museum or just whatever, the responsibility of showcasing a company or whatever they do for a trade show, what have you. Can you talk a little bit about that responsibility? Because in the case of, you know, the separation of powers, it seems like what you're doing is bigger than the sort of manufacturing aspect that happens here.
well, the most important part's the story and what you're capturing and how you interpret it and how you showcase it. So we want to make sure it's right, and done well. It's not something you slap together. It's done with caring and love. And you think about the one museum we're doing right now, Carolina Museum of the Marine Corps at Camp Lejeune, all those men that gave their lives for us, for our freedom and what we've done. So that really holds a reverence to us, and it matters. And so that when you're working on those kind of projects, you take that into account. You're thinking about it. When we did 9/11, we had to retouch every person that perished. There's a wall of honor with all their photographs, and our people had to retouch all their photographs. That was really tough. And 3 people worked on that for 6 months, and every image had to be inspected, and then they came and inspected all the images, and they all had to be consistent. And some of the imagery that we had wasn't very good. You can imagine at that time period, you didn't have the kind of resolution. So that was really hard on our people, but they took it very, very seriously. So they took it to heart.
I'd like to go upstairs and show some of those exhibits. So let's say we'll be right back and we'll go upstairs and show you. And one you'll recognize, it's a Ted Hot Dog character that they built right here. So we'll be right back. We'll show you a couple of those things coming up.
All right, everybody, we are back. No doubt you welcome or you recognize Ted there from the Ted's Char-Grilled Hot Dogs. It is around lunchtime, and I do have to say, I wouldn't mind a char-grilled hot dog right now.
Anytime.
Anytime.
Yes. All right, so this is just some of the work that is done here. There's several other exhibits in this other space. You do small, you do big. So talk about that. And you do local, you do international.
Right, well, so the interesting thing, here we have Ted's, and you said small. I'm going to show you something smaller. But we didn't talk about the model that we have in the other room of Bach Tower that's 12 feet tall. That's the maquette for that. But let's step in here and I can show you a little bit about what we've done with some handmade components. So this piece is hand carved out of wax, and actually the center will come out if I push it. But that's all hand carved, both sides. And then the mold was made from this. And then from that, we made sand casts, and then we cast these bronze medallions.
And Ted, this was for a specific project that was already done. What was this?
No, this was for the U.S. Capitol, and we made 6 pedestals, all with 1-inch square bronze square rod, and brazed it all together. These were the tables that the original plaster models of the U.S. Capitol were.
How much of your work would you say is kind of typical of this? First, it's done by hand, then you make the mold or cast, right? Then you cast it into whatever material it is going to be.
Well, we have somebody working all the time on this, and it's hard to find good artisans. Our artisan who'd been with us 25 years is semi-retired, and we're building a new TED right now for Phoenix to go out there because Evan's making a couple new stores out there. And so now the people in Phoenix will get Ted's hot dogs too. And so he's working on that. We just finished a set of trees for the Constitution Center, and we're going to be making 3 scenic areas of the White House, the judicial, the Supreme Court, and they'll be doing some componentry out there. And we didn't go out and look at, but they're doing samples of marble right now out there.
So what we're trying to get across here is right here in your backyard in Western New York, in North Buffalo, they are making things you will see all over the globe. If you go to Washington, D.C., you will absolutely see the work of Hadley exhibits and of your neighbors, the artisans that work inside here. And even something as small as that, but something as large as a huge museum exhibit at maybe one of your favorite museums, look into it. Was that Hadley exhibits? There's a chance it was. Let's go in and see some of these larger exhibits in this showroom now.
This was a corner sample. Now we turned it into a garbage
can. Everything here is beautiful.
That model, and really anything that we're really looking at, it is a perfect example of the detail that it goes into. You know, Kelsey, you talked about the fact that they do these larger exhibits and for trade shows and for museums, but for these large exhibits, they're all broken down into those very, very small components. And in a little bit, we're going to run into some people who are responsible for that. And it really just blows my mind to see the intricacy that we have already seen that goes into the space. This is more commercial as opposed to perhaps what we were doing before, right?
On this side, this is a mock-up of a brick wall.
There we go.
Not real brick, but this is a hand-carved, that's out of wood. And then that's wood. And then that was cast in fiberglass, and we made 2 of these towers. That was in the Bach Tower exhibit at the Gardens in Florida.
You're working on something for the Richardson Olmsted campus as well. So this is something you'll see right here in Buffalo down the road. What do you want to share about that, Ted?
Well, it's coming soon. Next spring, we'll have this online, but these are just some of the exhibits that we're working on, the interactivity. This will be the largest touch screen in Western New York when it's all done.
Very cool. So there's tech involved in what you build, and then there is, you know, master carpentry in some of other things you build. We even met a guy who is a master in plexiglass who works here. It's amazing what you guys do. If you go to a Bills game, you could see some of their work in a lot of what the Bills order as well.
Well, we did the Bills sales store in.
There you go. The
Amherst,
Bills experience, that's in Amherst. If you got a PSL, well, if you went inside there in that experience, that was Hadley
Excellent
exhibits.
job. That's incredible.
Frank Cravata, who's in charge of design for the stadium, was one of our designers.
So would you say when we were in that exhibit and did the whole tour and everything like that, now that I'm thinking about it, was every component in that space done by you, even like the little mock-up of the models and stuff?
The only thing we didn't do was the model.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And
that was impressive.
Everything else we did. We fixed part of the model because people tried to steal parts of it.
You're kidding?
No, so
Wow. So you go to trade shows, you could see, you know, maybe things like this. I don't know if this was for a trade show though.
Yep.
Ted,
This is a system that we sell and represent. And so a lot of this, and this is specifically made to show the different types of surfaces. So this surface over here is a hard surface here, and this is fabric. So lightweight and all illuminated. And then this is a little bit different surface, but it's a little lightweight, and that's a laminate. And then this is all fabric here until here. Well, no, that isn't. That's you're going to have to help me out, Jason. This is all Sintra, I think.
So when
Very
you do a museum, you do a trade show, you help conceptualize, you help design that, then you help build that, and then you even go and install.
Yes.
You do every
Everything
single
turnkey.
It's amazing.
How many places are like this, let's say in just the United States? Are there a lot of exhibitor businesses?
For a trade show, there's about 3,000.
Okay.
For a museum, there's maybe 30. And of the level that we're at, there's 3 or 4.
And then tell us the money involved in making exhibits for museums and trade shows.
You mean you want me to put me on the spot and say it's really expensive?
The millions or billions that this industry is.
So the trade show business, believe it or not, is the largest industry in the country. And when you think about what it takes to do an exhibit, now this is probably about a $60,000 or $70,000 exhibit.
Okay.
Now, you have to ship it, you have to send it to the show, right? Then there's show services, which would cost another $20,000 to $30,000 for this booth. Then you have to send all your people, hotel rooms, food, and everything else. Now, this is a small booth. When you have a big booth, it's a lot more. So we had booths that 14 tractor trailer loads in the 90s, their budgets were $1.8 to $1.9 million for 2.5 days. That's just the exhibit.
Wow.
And the client would have 600 people from around the world, because it was an international company, go to the shows. And whether it's in Vegas or Chicago, San Francisco, we did a booth in San Francisco, same exact booth, went to Dallas and reduced the cost by a third, just from the cost of San Francisco to there. And then they would have a concert. We hired Train, Lost Lonely Boys, all kinds of people. So their budgets, it's a lot of money, in the billions of dollars.
So you are one of very few. How do you become one of, let's say, 2 or 3 or 4 companies capable of doing what you can do? How did you build this thing?
When I started in '77, there was about 15 to 18 people. I can remember there was 47 union carpenter shops in the city of Buffalo at the time. Today there's 2.
Wow.
So we had maybe 10 carpenters at that time. Today we have 40, and we have about 102 people, and we're looking for more.
There you go.
There you go.
If
Looking
you're-
for more.
If you're a young person, get into the trades, and this place
money
is
to
an
be made.
amazing place to work. Right here in Buffalo. All right, let's go and see some of those workspaces because those are massive. It's unbelievable from Elmwood Avenue how far this building goes back. So we'll be right back to show you that. All right, Ted, you have about 100 employees who work here. Could you go through all of the different trades they are in? I know there's artists, there's also accounting, that sort of thing. So go through all of that.
Well, if you start with the business end, you have accountants, clerical staff, assistants to presidents, and then we have coordinators, project managers, HR, purchasing, and then you have detailing, which are draftsmen, people that know SolidWorks, AutoCAD, designers, graphic designers, 3D designers, and we have people in production art. We have 3 people in there that print all the graphics, that cut vinyl, apply vinyl, laminate graphics, print murals, and out in the shop you have the carpenters, you have apprentice. We have 3 different layers of apprentices. So if you have the right attitude, we'll train you, and that's how most of our people come in. We train them up and get them there. And we got some master craftsmen that have been here about 5 or 6 years, and they've learned really quickly on through the process.
So despite the fact that we are seeing some incredibly intricate and important work, these people don't have necessarily, they don't come to this job with the original skills needed.
Right, right. And then we have electricians, then we have machinists, welders, fabricators, metal fabricators. We have old school metal fabricators that can build anything from the start to the finish. And those guys, the young kids in there now are learning from these guys, and they're really taking to it. It's great.
We are in one workspace. This is one of many here. It is amazing. We took a full tour before this, and it took us over an hour to go through the full tour. What are some of the things that people are making in here? If you could point some things out, like that will be this type of exhibit.
Well, that case is over on its side, and they're starting to fit door hinges and things, and that's a showcase for the Carolina Museum of the Marines. You'll see a lot of that in here. There's an exhibit over here that's for the National Constitution Center. There's parts that he is working on that is for the Niagara Falls Visitor Center. This is for separation of powers. There's the Riker, there's a trade show exhibit being made over here and laminated, so there's laminate work too, so that's another entire thing. Putting on laminate and veneers is a trade. It's really, you just don't put laminate on and cut it. You got to hand file it. It really is something you got to learn how to do perfectly so it feels nice and soft and you don't have that sharp edge.
There's 2 gentlemen gentlemen who are painting.
Yeah, well, we got three. We have one specialist, and he was in the laminate shop that just does wood stains. And then we have two guys in the spray booth, and there's 2 or 3 other guys that are on the bench that can spray also, because sometimes we go second shift just painting.
Just painting. About how much would you say is different, especially over the past several years, from everything being here, some machine but mostly hand, to mostly machine, to now a different type of machine that is taking over, like 3D printing and these big like automatic machines?
Well, we've really started getting into the 3D printing, and I have an innovation team of about 8 people just working on that, and that's been amazing. And all the different things that we've already made. And we took the 3D printer and we made a 3D map of the Adirondacks. And it was about 12 segments. We glued it all together and then hand painted. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous for the Olympic Museum. And then we've got some things where they're interactives, where you spin gears, and stamps for different exhibits. So we're getting really into that. They're already telling me we need a second machine.
Of course.
You know, and then we
How much
have
does
the
things
laser.
cost? A lot,
Oh,
right?
no, they're not too bad. $3 grand for a starter, 15 grand for one that
Big
does
one.
metal. That's a little different. But then we're starting an innovation team for our CNC in the metal shops for the milling machines, the lathes, and the brake. So we're doing a lot more metal working, a lot of glass. So, you know, there's all kinds of opportunity here.
That's awesome.
Upstairs is an exhibit that we will see here in our own backyard. It's a project for the state for Niagara Falls, and it is exquisite up there. Explain what that is. We have some video of that.
When it comes to corian, it's really not simple. It's really intricate,
So corian
and they're all
is-
different layers. It's a specialized plastic, but some people have it in their kitchen on counters. It looks a lot different than what you're going to see up there. Now, those exhibits, God willing, they'll all be open for Memorial Day this year. So it's a long way from that, but we will start installing on March 2nd on those exhibits. We've got a little bit in there right now, but March 2nd we'll start, and then they'll get the corian done up here, then it'll be transferred up there, and then all the final seaming will be done on site.
That's pretty incredible.
And then from local to international.
To the international. And we were talking about before the responsibility that you are sort of undertaking here. This looks like a bunch of wood that is intricately and beautifully put together. We see the screws. This is the beginnings of an exhibit. But Ted, what you were saying before about what this will mean to people when it's finished, really, I think, is illustrative of what you were doing and what you guys are churning out here.
So this exhibit is one of the key exhibits at the Carolina Museum of the Marine Corps, which is just outside of Camp Lejeune. And this exhibit is all about Beirut and the bombing. And the family members that are still around that base all are a concentrated group that always gets together at least once a year. When we open, this will be a big deal to them, probably the biggest exhibit, most important one on the site. Now we got an LVT coming in, and I may have that name wrong, but we're hanging a Huey in there and a drone. We've got Jeeps, we got all kinds of things in there, but this one will resonate probably the most.
And I just want to explain to the viewers how much it resonates to you as well, because as we walk around, you have been pinpointing things, and you have had tears in your eyes talking about what some of these things mean in our histories, in our country's history, and to so many people in this country as well. So just explain what this job has meant to you over the years and being able to do this.
Well, the story, it was really interesting because when the general was here with a meeting a week ago, we were talking about this, and I always have a reverence for the service. And my family has a long history of service. And one of my ancestors died at Concord Bridge. So, and we have all these people that have given their lives for their country, and 298 here in this exhibit. Now you got me. The reverence of what those people did for us. And when I grew up, graduated in 1975, Vietnam had just ended. And I've always felt bad because I didn't serve, because we went through the longest time of peace in our nation after Vietnam. So I didn't serve. My daughter served. My nephew served. One of my nephews went to the Air Force Academy, was a fighter pilot, and flew in Iraq and Afghanistan. One was in a sub, a nuke sub, So my family has always served. And my dad and my uncle were in the Navy. So it's an honor to tell their story, the story of all these people that made America great and what it is, and allow all of us here in Buffalo to live great and go to the Bills games and the Sabres games. Go Sabres, right?
That's right.
So it's all about the story and getting stories to live. This we're working on this Lipsey Architecture Center, and I never really appreciated Buffalo's architecture. But every Sunday morning, we go to the Swan Diner. Don't you guys go, because if you're not there by 8, you got to wait.
Yeah, right.
But then we drive back through the city and we look at the architecture. And if you look closely, you'll look at the older brick buildings, and the arches are all brick. They're arches. And you can start to see the difference when you start to see keystones coming in. And then you see the lintels are sandstone. And then there's steel and how the brick goes in. And you start to see that. And you look at the decorations that the people in this city put on their buildings. You don't see it anymore.
Right.
But you see, look closely at the top of the Ellicott Square building. Go look at the Guarantee building.
Yep.
No
That's a big
place
one.
in the world will you see anything like that. And here we look at it happenstance because it's right there. It's right in front of us. But this city is amazing, and it's still amazing today, and it's still the city of great neighbors.
Great, man.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I think that's a great place to come to an end there. Ted, you have shown us that there is a tremendous amount of things to be proud of that are coming out of this building, filled with incredible craftsmen and women. Man, we are lucky to have you as an asset, but also thank you for being so candid and for caring so much about your work, man. That's a special thing.
Well, everybody here feels the same way.
You can tell.
And it matters. And we care about each other. This is the Hadley family, because we spend more time here with our workers, our family, than we do with our own families. And so we got to make the best.
Beautiful history in the city of Buffalo, and then you're creating history and storytelling in here. All right, thank you for giving us the tour.
Next time,
This was
anytime.
amazing.
Incredible.
And thank you for watching Buffalo Brief. We'll see you tomorrow.